I okay, this next story I'm about to read in my novel, well, this story is called Under the Well-Guarding Stars. The truck of Daniel Kabashi looked a bit small to Daniel and Sally as they stood together under a bright, starry sky. The crescent moon had gone down some hours ago, and due to the freshly fallen snow, it seemed a bit like day due to the reflection of the starlight off of it. Their eyes had adjusted to the dark, and even though it was cold, they seemed to enjoy seeing stars without the interference of sea light. Daniel had his 357 Magnum, and Sally had hers as well as Daniel recited a poem saying, "When I behold the charm of evening skies, their lulling endurance, the patterns of stars with names of bears and dogs, a swan, a virgin, other planets that the Voyager showed were like and so unlike our own, with all their diverse moons, bright disks, weird rings, and cratered faces, comets, comets with their streaming tails bent by pressure from our sun, the skyscape of our Milky Way, holding in its shimmering disk an infinity of suns, or say 1,000 billion, knowing there are holes of darkness gulping mass and even light, knowing that this galaxy of ours is one of multitudes in what we call the heavens. Well, it enlivens me. It enlivens me." Sally smiled and said, "That was a pretty good poem. Did you come up with that?" "I sure did," smiled Daniel, looking to the side. "Well, actually only the last part." "The last part?" "The part that about enlivening me. Only that part. For it all does enliven me. The rest was written by our second to worst president we ever had. A guy who probably should have stuck to poetry. But again, all that up there, all that up there and here, again, does truly enlighten me. It doesn't trouble me in the least, like it troubled our poet president. I mean, if there is a God, and I believe there is, and God is as the Bible has him, creating creating all of this, then how can you be troubled? Would a being like that be setting something up for our eternal damnation? Of course, an atheist would ask, would a being like that care to bother setting something up for our eternal heavenly home? I'm going to say yes on the latter, because even though I was an atheist, it finally struck me after seeing Neville's videos on abiogenesis, that if there is no God, then all of this has had to exist forever, because something can't come from nothing. It's always had to be here. The universe and time is all the God of atheists. And since none of us were around to see its creation or see that it's forever always been here, it's faith to believe yeah yeah, if there is no God, then all of this has had to exist forever, because something can't come from nothing. It's always had to be here. The universe and time is all the God of atheists. And since none of us were around to see its creation or see that it's forever always been here, it's faith to believe that it was always here in some form. But it all seems so dark and cold, if that was the case. And I say, if God didn't create all this, didn't create all of that, and even create beautiful you, and it all came from accident, then really, who cares if Islam even takes over? I mean, our descendants will greatly envy us that we didn't have to pull out prayer rugs and stick our patooties in the air 5 times a day, every day for the rest of our lives on prayer rugs like they'll be forced to do. That's all. I mean, if there is no heavenly afterlife, no God that cares nor loves us, that it's all accident as to why we're here, then it's all a cosmic joke on us anyway, if you ask me. Again, at least we had the freedom for a while to not be bound to the ideas of a dead desert Charlie Manson on steroids. You know what I mean? I I think I know what you're I think I know where you're coming, said Sally softly. She then said, "So, if you were an atheist, you wouldn't try to expose Islam?" Daniel thought about it, then said, "Yeah." Daniel thought about it, then said, "It's hard to tell. One of the reasons why I'm trying to expose Islam is because, well, I really love my fellow human beings, as imperfect as they may appear to me at times. And I want to see my fellow life travelers, as they are called a lot now, progressing and getting better with time, which to me seems absolutely impossible if Islam takes over. But is this desire to see such an evolution in the world because I'm a Christian, or because of something in my DNA? Since I'm no longer an atheist, I'll say it's the former reason and give God the credit for the way I feel this way toward things. What was your attitude toward Islam when you were an atheist? Asked Sally. I thought it was like any other religion, a stupid waste of one's precious time when they could be doing something far more productive. I saw it as the worship of a man who had a vivid imagination, like traveling to Jerusalem on a flying horse, that sort of thing. Had I known Islam was a threat it truly is as an atheist and didn't come upon the anti-atheist writings and videos of Neville when he was Christian Prince 3, I'd have yeah, I guess I would have done what I'm doing now. God or no God, I didn't want to see my daughters and wife burdened with having to hide their pretty faces all the time. I guess I'd have done the same what I'm doing now, after all. You don't worry about them being raped for not being covered up? Asked Sally. Oh, it could certainly happen. Still, I'd rather have them the option of being free than cowering under a sheet, fearful they'll be raped for not cowering under a sheet. I mean, look at it. Look at how much one would miss out on in trying to keep some bastard from raping them if they hide under a beekeeper outfit. And you think hiding under a sheet will keep a rapist from raping you if he wants to? If you just dress seductively, aren't you bringing it on? Asked Sally. You mean like you? Have I raped you for the sexy way you are dressed? Responded Daniel. I've got my gun, said Sally. Has anyone raped you for not wearing a beekeeper outfit, but for the way you're dressed now? Smiled Daniel. Sally didn't say anything. I rest my case, said Daniel. Daniel then pointed at something and said, Anyway, see that rock? It's small, but I bet I can hit it from here. I'm pretty good aim. I'm a pretty good aim with this now. It should spark in the dark, letting us know I hit it. Normally, I wouldn't be shooting at anything, being that bullets are now as valuable as pieces of gold, but I now secretly make my own bullets. Pretty soon, the way things are going, bullets will be our currency. Horrible thought, but that's the way things are now headed. Sally asked, Where do you make bullets? Believe it or not, said Daniel, I have a bullet maker with gunpowder right in my truck. I make them for my Magnum and only for my Magnum. I've only had the bullet maker and powder in my truck for a week, though, since I noticed Muslims were turning the heat up on me. It's not the complete gun maker. I have to get my charges from someone else, who will remain unknown, no matter how much torture the government puts me through. But, said Sally, aren't you worried that you'll be arrested for having guns in your truck and a bullet maker? Daniel thought, then said, I'd rather be arrested than dead. Of course, to die is gain, according to my belief. I mean, like a Muslim, I too believe in martyrdom, but only as a last resort. If you can stay alive to fight again another day, you fight to stay alive. But there is a reason why I'm armed and have gunpowder in my truck. I think of it this way. If you are going to be arrested for having a gun, now that it's illegal to have any handgun, you might as well be arrested big time, so you have the chance of making news. God willing, a lot of news, especially when you have something you feel worth exposing to the world. Why in the world would you want to do that? Are you some kind of outlaw? Asked Sally. Are you some kind of outlaw? Asked Sally, feeling she might have to put her gun on Daniel again. Daniel thought, then said, well, yeah. You bet I'm an outlaw. Yeah, you bet I'm an outlaw. Anyone who questions or tries to expose Islam is an outlaw now. And soon anyone who doesn't submit fully to Allah, who doesn't submit fully to Islam, will be an outlaw as well. But no, if the world was the way it was even just 5 years ago, I wouldn't even have a gun at all. Personally, I don't even like the things. I'm not a violent man, and I'm usually very law-abiding. Quite boring, actually. I thought you said you wouldn't kill Muslims, said Sally, looking down. Where did I say that I would? Just because you have a gun doesn't mean you have to kill those who are trying to kill you. Does a scorpion or rattler? Yeah. Where did I say I would do? Where did I say I would? Just because you have a gun doesn't mean you have to kill those who are trying to kill you. Does a scorpion or rattler deliberately crawl into your bed to bite or sting you? Does a porcupine set out to fill a dog's mouth with vicious quills? Look, if they think you are evil, which all Muslims view me as for daring to question and expose Islam, they will think I will use this gun to kill them. And if they do, it might make them hesitant in trying to hunt me down knowing that I am armed. Luckily, in the human brain, and jihadi Muslims are human, there is usually a strong thread of doubt in whatever belief, no matter how hypnotized and brainwashed that individual is into believing it. I wonder if Muslims will really want to risk receiving giant mile-wide patooties in paradise. If they will think, gee, am I really going to be getting little girls and boys to have sex with forever who have really bad memories for having sex as my wives constantly smile to keep out of hell by acting like they enjoy seeing me having sex with kids? Will I really get that if that infidel Kabashi kills me as I try to obey Quran 911 about killing and being killed in the cause of Allah? Being killed in Allah's cause? And if they know I'm armed, maybe they will have second thoughts about trying to kill me for an afterlife that sounds, well, like something Satan would think up for motivating people. Face it,